I hope you're enjoying this video series titled Physical Healing in the Church Today. We're tackling those physical healing FAQs, those frequently asked questions about healing, and we're bringing the biblical responses. Frequently asked question number five. Number five, should I say that I'm healed if I still have the symptoms? The answer is no. Look, the act of asking Jesus to heal you is an act of admitting that you're not well and that you need his help. It's admitting that you're sick and you need a healer. Jesus told those who were sick to come to him. James tells the sick to call the elders of the church and to ask for prayer. The Bible identifies people as sick. The Bible calls people lame and blind and deaf and ill. The Bible doesn't say that these people are already healed. Instead, the Bible refers to them as sick, and this is why they need healing. Look, when Jesus saw a blind man, the Bible called the man blind. Jesus didn't tell the man to stop saying that he was blind. Here it is in the Gospel of Luke. It goes like this. It says, at sunset, the people brought to Jesus all who had various kinds of sickness, and laying his hands on each one of them, he healed them. That's Luke 4, verse 40. See, Jesus had an encounter then with a blind man and asked the blind man to explain his condition. And notice when the blind man admitted his blindness, Jesus didn't correct him and tell him to confess that he's not blind. Instead, Jesus healed him. Check it out, Mark chapter 8. It says that he, speaking of Jesus, took the blind man by the hand and led him outside the village. When he'd spit on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked, do you see anything? He looked up and said, hey, I see people, but they look like trees walking around. Once more, Jesus put his hand on the man's eyes. Then his eyes were opened, his sight was restored, and he saw everything clearly. Let's go to James now. James encourages those who recognize their physical sickness to ask for prayer. He says, is anyone among you sick? Let them call the elders of the church to pray over them and anoint them with oil in the name of the Lord. And the prayer offered in faith will make the sick person well. The Lord will raise them up. If they've sinned, they will be forgiven. James 5:14 and 15. The Bible doesn't play word games. And God doesn't pretend that sickness doesn't exist. Declaring that you're not sick when you are in fact sick is not an act of faith. It's an act of pride. It is dishonest. It's a lie. You're being dishonest with yourself and those around you and with God. Saying that you're healed when you're not healed is not an act of faith. It just isn't. It really is. It borders on lying. Positive confession doesn't heal us. Jesus heals us when we bring our brokenness to him. The power of positive confession is not biblical. It's a new age practice that has no place in the church. It's an act of the human will instead of an act of faith in God. Well, the next video in this series on healing is going to answer that frequently asked question, is it important that we pray for healing?